Welcome to Chronically Crocheting. I have a lot to share with you. Let's have some fun. Hi, my yarny friends. Today I'm going to teach you how to make this bee. Now, this is not for an absolute beginner. In this tutorial, you will have to have just at least a little bit, be familiar with a slip stitch, a single crochet, a half double crochet, and a chain stitch, and a magic ring or a chain two and working in the second chain from the hook. So this is not for an absolute beginner. However, it's not difficult. If you have a little bit of knowledge on how to do this, we go from here and we work all the way down to here. We will be changing yarn colors, then we'll do the wings, attach them, and then for the antennas and the legs, you do attach your yarn chain and then reattach and tie it in. So the only thing you're sewing on is your two wings. So I'm really excited. I do not have a written pattern for this. I don't know if I ever will. If you want to use a different size, like if you're going to use, this is Himalayan Dolphin Baby, and I usually use a size 5 crochet hook with that, but you use what you need to use. You can do whatever size yarn weight you want to do. Just make sure the wings and this is the same. So let's get started on this tutorial. So for this tutorial, you're going to need at least 3 colors of yarn. I've done it in rainbow. I've done it in, you can do it in black and white and yellow if you want, whatever color you want. It really doesn't also matter your yarn weight. Just use the right size hook for that weight. This tutorial will work for 3, 4, 5, 6 weight yarn. I am using just yarn worsted in the color Royal Purple, and then I'm using just yarn worsted in lilac. I think darker and a lighter color is good. You don't want two real dark colors, you won't see them, but I don't know, maybe it'd be fun. And then I'm using Red Heart Super Saver Metallic in white for the wings. And then I'm going to use a 3.5 millimeter crochet hook. Just change the hook size for your weight. Like velvet, I use a 5. Himalayan Dolphin Baby, I use a 5. This one was really big. I think maybe I used a 6.5. He was a really big. So just make sure you can get it as tight as you can, but without it killing your arm. Don't go too crazy small on your crochet hook. And then I use a ribbon so I can mark each, so I know my rounds. I don't use a stitch marker. You're going to need 18, I use 18 millimeter safety eyes for the worsted weight, but it can be any size. Have fun with it. You're going to need backs. I recommend that you do not use these. These that come with it are cheap and terrible backs. I got these backs off of Amazon and I really like them, and I'll link it in the description box below. And behind my back, I like to put a little bit of fabric behind it on the inside so it has more to grip and it can't be pulled out. You're going to need a darning needle if you want to do a smile, some embroidery floss, a pair of scissors, and some stuffing. So let's get started with this tutorial. For round 1, we are going to place 8 single crochets in a magic ring, or you can chain 2 and place them in the second chain from the hook. I always do a double magic ring. I would look for a tutorial for that. This is not a tutorial for a magic ring. I'm gonna hopefully do a tutorial on how I do my double magic ring. There are tutorials out there. That's how I learned. And then I always find this little string and pull it out. So I have my magic ring ready, and we're gonna place for round 8 single crochets into that magic ring. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I do want to wear my yarn guide, but I'll do it for the next round. And now I'm going to pull this closed. I'm going to find the one that pulls easily, and it pulled easily. It's almost closed, and then I'll take that string and pull it shut. I have 8 single crochets in my magic ring. I have closed my magic ring. I'm going to put my ribbon as my marker or my lifeline so I can rip back any row I need to. Sometimes I've had to rip back 3 rows, and you can't if you only use a stitch marker and move it, stitch marker, move it, because you don't know then which rows, where each row begins and ends. This I'll know for the life of my project until I'm done. I could rip it back as many rounds as I need to. Okay, now for round 2, we're going to place 2 single crochets in each stitch. So we're going to do 2 single crochets in each stitch. We're going to do that 8 times. This first one's always the hardest. 1, 2. So I'm going to place 2 single crochets in each stitch. 1, 2, and that will give me a total of 16 single crochets. I'm going to do this round with you. So an increase is 2 single crochets in each stitch. We're doing a total of 8 increases. So here I am at the end of round 2, placing my last increase. Now I'm going to take my ribbon, put it to the side, make sure it's not hiding my first stitch. And for round 3, we're going to do 1 single crochet and then an increase in the next stitch. We're going to do that 8 times. We're going to do a single crochet in that first stitch, an increase, which is 2 single crochets in that stitch, 1, 2. We're going to do an increase, 1 single crochet and then an increase. We're going to repeat that pattern, 1 single crochet, increase, 1 single crochet, all the way around until we get to the end of round 3. Then we will have 24 stitches. So remember, 1 single crochet, increase in the next. I will meet you at the end of round 3. I am at the end of round 3, 1 single crochet, increase. It's my last set. I'm gonna take my ribbon to mark my next round. So for round 4, we're gonna do 2 single crochets and an increase 8 times. So we're gonna do single, single, increase, single, single, increase. So we're going to place 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 1 in the next, and then an increase, which is 2 single crochets in the next stitch. We're going to do single, 1 single, 1 single crochet, an increase that has 2 in the next stitch. We're going to repeat this pattern of 2 single crochet and then an increase until we're at the end of round 4, and then we should have 32 stitches at the end of round 4. I am at the end of round 4. I'm going to do my last increase, And now I'm gonna move my ribbon over, make sure that first one is showing. So for rounds 5 through 9, we're gonna do 1 single crochet in each stitch. We have 32 stitches in each round. So we're gonna do 32 stitches. We're gonna do that 5 times. So 5 rounds. Rounds 5 through 9 gets 1 single crochet in each stitch. And I am going to meet you at the end of round 9. We're working on rounds 5 through 9. Okay, so I'm coming to the end of round 9. Woohoo! Want to know a secret? My second time I'm filming this. No! But I'm persevering. Woohoo! Alrighty. So, okay, we're at the end of round 9. Now for round 10, we're going to do 2 single crochets and then an invisible decrease. And we're going to do that, repeat that 8 times. So we're going to do 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 1 single crochet in the next stitch, and then an invisible decrease. And what that is in a stitch, you have 2 lines, and you can either work in both of the stitches, you can work in the front, or you can work in the back stitch only. We, for the invisible decrease, are going to only pick up the first front stitch and then the first front stitch of the other one. Just that first one, and then we're going to yarn over and pull through both of those, and then yarn over and pull through all 2. And the reason why we do this is that leaves a little, those stitches in the back to help cover up any holes so you won't have any gaps. That's why it's called an invisible decrease, because you won't have gaps. You won't see the decrease. If you were to go into both loops, you're going to have gaps in your work. So we're going to do 1 single crochet in the next, 1 in the next, and then an invisible decrease. That's where we just pick up that first loop and then pick up the first loop of the next one, yarn over, pull through those 2, yarn over, pull through 2. We're going to repeat this until we get to the end of round 10, and we will have 24 stitches at the end of round 10. I'm doing my last invisible decrease. And now it's time to place our safety eyes. I'm just going to pull this and so it won't come unraveled. But if you're working with chenille yarn, I highly recommend put a stitch marker in. Don't pull it like I'm going to, because sometimes you can't pull it tight again. But for the ease of this tutorial, I'm going to pull that. And then this, where your loop is the bottom of your B, or I consider that my bottom, or you can go off your line if you have a ribbon. So on the other side, this is where we're going to place our safety eyes. Now we're going to place them between rows 4 and 5. So this is row 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So 4 and 5. I just put my first one in. They're going to be roughly 6 stitches apart, or you'll see 4 visible stitches right here. I just kind of place them to where I think that's where it goes, and then maybe I'll move it over 1. And then if I don't like it, I'll move it over 1 or 2. Like it's not enough of a space. I'm going to move this one over 1. And you just, these are kind of big for the 4 weight, but it works. Let's make sure I still have 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, I still have it between 4 and 5. So if I press these down, you see 1, 2, 3, 4. There's probably 5 stitches in between that. I like 5. I think I've done 4 before. I'm going to leave it here. If I open it up like this, you'll see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 stitches apart. It's whatever you like, and then if you want to sculpt it to push it in, that looks really cool when if you sculpt it. If you don't, that's okay. I've sculpted some and haven't done other ones. And that's when you take yarn to sink in these eyes or thread. Alrighty, I'm happy with where they are placed. And then now, I am going to place my eyes, but first I need some fabric. So I'm gonna cut it. It's gonna be a little bit bigger than my eye. I need 2 of them. Here's 1, 2. It doesn't have to be exact. Nobody's gonna see this. Then I fold it in half and do a slit in the middle, just a little bit, and then I fold it in half the other way, hopefully. And right where I was, do another little slit. And so hopefully we can put this over our safety eyes. Okay. Then this is the back of my safety eye. I push through where I made that little slit. Hopefully I made the slit big enough. Oh, yep, there we go. And then this one. And it just gives your safety eye something else to hang on to, so it's harder to pull through. I can't guarantee it's foolproof, but I know if, everything helps. And then these, you just push. They just push and snap. Boom. Yay. Okay. So my eyes are on, and I think this one I made it a little more wider than the first one I did. It just doesn't really matter. It's whatever looks good to you. Like if I sunk these in, I like them a little wider. No, it's just doesn't have to be perfect. So then, now that our safety eyes are on, let me get all situated here. Okay, so where am I? We are on round 11. So for round 11, we're going to do 1 single crochet, then a decrease, and we're going to repeat that 8 times. And at the end of this round, we'll have 18 stitches. So 1 single, oh no, what do I got right there? I don't know. 1 single crochet. Well, Jiminy Crickets. Let me tighten that back up. 1 decrease. 1 decrease. And we're going to do this until we hit the end of round 11. I'll meet you at the end of round 11. I am at the end of round 11. I'm going to do my last decrease, and then I'm going to make that go over there. I got my tail. Oh no! Gotta fix that a little bit. Okay, so for round 12, we're going to work in the front loop only, and we're going to do 1 single crochet and an increase. So remember, in a stitch, there's 2 loops. We only want the front loop. Just get one, the front loop only. We're going to do 1 single crochet, and then in the next stitch, we're going to do an increase. Only in the front loop, we're going to do 2 single crochets in that stitch. That is an increase. So 1 single crochet in the front loop and an increase in the front loop only. We're going to repeat this until we get to the end of round 12, and then we'll have 24 stitches. I will meet you at the end of round 12. I am at the end of round 12. I'm going to do my last increase in the front loop only. I'm going to make my ribbon go back. Oh no. And then we are going to do round 13. We're going to do 2 single crochets and then an increase. So we're going to do a single crochet in the next stitch, a single crochet in the next stitch, and then an increase in the next, which is 2 single crochets in that stitch. And we're going to repeat this all the way around, so a total of 8 times until we have 32 stitches. So single crochet, and then an increase. Repeat this until you get to the end of round 13. I just finished round 13, and now we're going to do round 14. It's going to be 3 single crochets, then an increase, and we're going to repeat that 8 times. It'll be a total of 40 stitches. So that means 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 1 in the next, and 1 in the next, and then an increase in the next. That's 2 in 1 stitch. So single crochet, single crochet, single crochet, increase. We're going to do that a total of 8 times, and I will meet you at the end of round 14. Now at the end of the round 14, we're going to swap colors, so I'll catch up with you at the end of round 14. I'm at the end of round 14, and we want to swap colors here, and I just finished it to show you. It's okay if you did your last increase. Just pull back 1 stitch, and then I'm going to take my yarn thing off. This last stitch, what you want to do is go in, yarn over 1 time, pull it through, and then we're going to swap colors. So we're going to take our new color, the color you want your stripes. We're going to wrap that around and pinch it, hang on to it, and pull it through. Oh no! Well, Jiminy Crickets. And then that tail, I'm going to hold it down, and then I'm going to tug on this one to make that tighter, and then I'm going to tug on that one, both of them, to make them tighter. I'm going to hold this one down too, and then make that go across, hold them down. This next row is going to be slip stitches in the back loop only. Now this isn't going to be called a round, so if you want to, you just can't stand slip stitches and you don't care it has a V in your color changes and you just want to do single crochets, then you can. You can skip the slip stitches and just automatically go to round 15 and just do it in both the loops. But I like a clean line, like these have this clean line, and we're going to create that right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to slip stitch in the back loop, not the front, but the back loop only. I'm going to go in there and we're going to slip stitch. That's when you put your hook through the back loop, you yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over and pull through that. And we're going to do a slip stitch all the way around in all 40 stitches. But I'm going to pause and I'm going to cut this and then tie a knot. And it's just better, you could carry your yarn, but it's more secure if you cut it every time and tie a knot. One, I didn't leave much of a tail. 2, I at least do it 3 times. I'll only be able to do it 3 because I was like, not giving myself much of a tail. 3. Now I can go back to my slip stitches. I'm done with, oh no, this light purple, but I want my yarn guide. Should get another one so I could just keep it on both colors. So Now that we've tied it and we're all secure, we're in the back loop only, we are going to slip stitch around, and you can see that nice line starting right now. Yay! So I'm going to meet you at the end of all these slip stitches. Remember, there's 40 stitches, so we're going to have 40 slip stitches. And I'll meet you out at the end of this. Oops. So I am at the end of my slip stitch round. When you're counting rows, you don't need to count that slip stitch round as anything. So now for round 15, in the back loop only, we're going to place a single crochet in each stitch in the back loop only. So a single crochet in the back loop of every slip stitch you just did. That'll be 40 stitches around. And then let me do a couple more. You'll see the transition. There's no V, it's just these nice lines. See? So you don't have a V, you just have these nice lines. So for round 15, we're going to do one single crochet in the back loop of every stitch, and I will meet you at the end of round 15. I am at the end of round 15. That's my last single crochet in that back loop only. I'm gonna take my ribbon, put it to the side. And now for rounds 16 and 17, we're gonna do one single crochet in each stitch. So 40 stitches around twice. And then at the end of round 17, we're gonna be switching back to our first color. So 2 rounds of one single crochet in each stitch. So for rounds 16 and 17, one single crochet in each stitch, and I will meet you at the end of round 17, where in that last stitch we're going to swap over to our first color. Okay, I'm at the end of round 17. This is my last stitch, and I'm going to swap colors. So I'm going to go through my the 2 stitches. I'm going to yarn over, pull through. I'm going to stop. I'm going to take my first color, wrap it around, and then pull that through. Now, some people might stop and right here, but I like to do a couple stitches before I tie it down just so it secures it. So in this round is when we're going to do the slip stitches in the back loop only. This doesn't count as a round. Again, if you don't like slip stitches, you can skip this. So in the back loop only, I'm going to slip stitch a couple, and then I'm going to now take this, cut my dark purple, not the yarn I just put on there, but my dark purple, and then I'm going to tie this off so it's secure. I had a knot in my yarn, that's the only reason why I have that there. Okay, and now I'm going to go back to slip stitching. So I'm going to slip stitch in the back loop only. Again, we still have 40 stitches. I'm going to be slip stitching in every stitch. This is going to give me that really nice transition. So I'm going to meet you at the end of these slip stitches. Remember, you'll have 40 stitches around, 40 slip stitches in the back loop only. Okay, I'm at the end of my slip stitch round. That's my last slip stitch. Now I'm going to pull that forward. So for round, okay, let me see where I am. 18. we are going to work in the back loop only and do a single crochet in the back loop only. One single crochet in the back loop only. So for round 18, you'll have 40 single crochets, but you're doing them in the back loop only. Unless you totally skip the slip stitch round, you do it in both of them. Back loop only. I'll meet you at the end of round 18. Okay, I'm at the end of round 18. I'm gonna do my last single crochet in the back loop only. Take my ribbon and pull it to the side. Now for rounds 19 and 20, we're gonna do one single crochet in each stitch. Each round has 40 single crochets in it. And at the end of round 20 is where we're gonna switch to our second color, our stripe color. So again, round 19 and 20 is one single crochet in each stitch, and I'm going to meet you at the end of round 20. I'm at the end of 20, and before I swap the colors out, I'm going to stuff the head. So I'm going to be getting me some stuffing. I'm going to stop and stuff my head. Get me some more stuffing. I want to stuff it pretty firm. Make sure it's in there. Like his little bug eyes. You know, some of them I've done are flat, and those are, the flat ones are fun, but the little bug eyes, because he's a bee. Don't bees have bug eyes? So I want to press it in the center and out to make sure that face gets, the head gets full. It's always fun stuffing on camera. Okay. Let's see, am I happy with him? I am. And then remember, I can always make it do that with yarn. Or I always say yarn, but I use embroidery floss to make it go in. He doesn't have that shaping, but it still looks cute. Okay. I'm happy with how stuffed he is. Now, let's see, where were we? We're going to be swapping colors here. So we were at the end of round 20. I'm going to take out this stitch because I want to swap my color to my stripe color, my darker purple. Here it is. Wrap it around, pull it through, tighten up that light one, tighten these up, hold that, make that go to the side. I can always tighten this one up. Now we're gonna, this is our slip stitch round. We're gonna slip stitch in the back loop only. We have 40 stitches, so we're gonna be doing 40 slip stitches. I'm gonna do a couple just to secure my yarn. And then I'm going to cut this. And I'm gonna tie a knot. Oh no, it's getting harder to show, but you guys should be pros at this part right now. Tie it in a knot. Hold on. Okay, so I've just tied that knot, and then I'm gonna go around and do all my slip stitches in all 40 stitches. So you should have 3 rows in each stripe. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So let's slip stitch in each 40 stitches in the back loop only, and I will meet you at the end of these slip stitches. Okay, I'm doing my last slip stitch. And then I'm going to take my ribbon and put it that way. And now for round 21, we're going to place 1 single crochet in the back loop only. So in the back loop only, you do 1 single crochet. And you should still have 40 stitches. So 1 single crochet in the back loop only, and I will meet you at the end of round 21. Alrighty, we're at the end of round 21. That's my last single crochet in the back loop only. For round 22, we're going to place 1 single crochet in each stitch. The next round we're going to do a decrease. So only this round, only round 22, is 1 single crochet in each stitch. And that will be 40 stitches, and I will meet you at the end of round 22. I am at the end of round 22. So now for round 23, we are going to do 3 single crochets and then an invisible decrease. So 1 in the next, 1 in the next, and then your invisible decrease. So that's a front loop only. We pick up those stitches and do our decrease. 1, 1, 1, decrease. We're going to do this a total of 8 times. And at the end of this round, we should have 32 stitches, and I will meet you at the end of round 23. And at the end of this round, we're going to change our color. I am at the end of round 23, and I'm going to do my last decrease, but as I do my last one, I'm going to swap my colors. And I pull through. I'm not going to yarn over again. I'm going to take my original color, wrap that around, pull that through, and then we're going to do just like I need a little more tail than that. And then we're going to do slip stitches again in the back loop only, but the only difference is we only have 32 stitches this time. So in the back loop only, I'm just going to do a couple of slip stitches, and then I'm going to tie my yarn down. This is not just a round of slip stitches. So now I'm going to take my purple, the dark one, cut it, tie this, 1, 2, it's nighttime now. Hopefully you don't hear the circadia. They are loud, 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 loud. I might have to stop. I was hoping to get the whole body done and then save the wings and stuff for tomorrow. I'll have to see how it sounds. Oh no. Okay, so now we're going to slip stitch in every stitch around. Jiminy crickets. So, and that will be 32 slip stitches, and I will meet you at the end of this, all these 32 slip stitches. I'm at the end of my slip stitches, and so now for round 24, we are going to, in the back loop only, place 1 single crochet, and that will be 32 stitches in the back loop only. This is round 24. Sorry. 1 single crochet in the back loop only, and I'm going to meet you at the end of 24, and at the end of the 24 we're going to stuff it. Start stuffing. Okay, I just finished round 24. If you're working with Chanel yarn, put a stitch marker there. It'll make your life easier, but I'm using worsted weight yarn, so I'm just going to do this so we can start stuffing some right now. I'm going to get some stuffing. Okay, I got a little pile of stuffing. And so now we're going to stuff some, crochet, stuff, crochet, stuff. You don't want to stuff all the way to the tippy top because you'll get frustrated because you'll get some of that stuffing in your crochet hook. If you do, it's not the end of the world. Okay. I like to just start stuffing. Now I'm going to put just a little bit more in here. Oops. And then we're going to start the next round. Just makes it easier for later. It's not 100% stuffed, but it's still there. Still needs more down in there, but that's good enough for now. So now we're going to do round 25. Let me get my little yarn guide to save my finger. Round 25 is going to be 2 single crochets and then a decrease. So we're going to do a single crochet in the next stitch, a single crochet in the next stitch, and then your invisible decrease in the next. Single, single, decrease. We're going to repeat that 8 times, and at the end of round 25 we're going to have 24 stitches. So I just did 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet in the next, and now our invisible decrease where you only pick up the front loop of the next 2 stitches. So single, single, invisible decrease, and I'm going to meet you at the end of round 25. Ooh. I am at the end of round 25. I'm going to do my last invisible decrease, and then round 26 is just going to be 1 single crochet in each stitch around. So that will be a total of 24 single crochets. And I will meet you at the end of round 26. Hopefully I said that this was round 26. 1 single crochet in each stitch. I am at the end of round 26. And now for round 27, I'm going to place my ribbon over there. We're going to do 1 single crochet, invisible decrease in the next 2 stitches, 1 single crochet, indivisible decrease in the next 2 stitches. And we're going to do that a total of 8 times. At the end, we will have 16 stitches. So I just did my 1, and then now I'm going to do a decrease over the next 2. 1 in the next stitch, decrease in the next 2, and I will meet you at the end of round 27. I am at the end of round 27, and I'm doing my last invisible decrease. And then for round 28, we're going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch. And that's going to be 16 stitches in total. I'm just going to do this with you, and then at the end of this, I'm going to start stuffing a little bit more. Because after this, we have 3 more rounds. But it's just going to get smaller on us. It's easier when I start and stop my rows to then put in the pattern, you know, as I type in the pattern, it makes it so much easier. And also, I'm not a big fan of crocheting along with somebody when it comes to this, especially amigurumi, because some people crochet slower or faster. So I'm going to now stuff this. And so then I get like paranoid, like, am I going fast enough? Am I messing up? And so I prefer to, when they tell me what I need to do, then pause it. So let's stuff. Some of this is going to have to be done off camera. It's just too hard to do it in front. So always go to the center and push out your stuffing. You go to the center, push out, and then add more stuffing to the center. Need a little bit more. Now this time around, I want to make sure that it's all of this, at least up to here, you know, from here to here is pretty full. Because now we're just going to be stuffing the very end of it. Okay, this is how my bee's looking. It's good. Alrighty, so now for round 29, we're going to do 8 decreases. 8 invisible decreases. I can't speak today. So that means just take the front loop and then the front loop of the next and do your invisible decrease. We're going to do this a total of 8 times. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now we have 8 stitches, and I'm gonna stuff a little bit more because look at how teeny my hole is. Okay. And then when it gets this teeny, I use the end of my hook. It grips it and shoves it in there, and then I can get my finger to move it around. I get some more stuffing. Use my hook to get in there. Make sure I'm pushing it all around to the sides. I need just a little bit more. Okay, so for round 30, we are going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch. Okay, I'm going to get this all ready. Round 30, 1 single crochet in each stitch. So that's 8 single crochets. Oh no! You want both loops, and I just almost got one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, we only have one more round, so if you want to add just a teeny bit more stuffing in there, you can. And you'll have to use the end of your crochet hook to get it in there. I think that's good. It doesn't have to be perfect. And most people in this last round, round 31, would do 4 decreases, but I don't like the way that looks. We're only going to do 3 decreases and just leave that last one to just close in the hole. When you close it in, it looks better that way. So we're going to do 3 decreases. Now, this time, I'm not going to use my... Well, I guess I will get it out of the way. 3 decreases. So invisible. The front loop only. There's 1 decrease. Front loop only. So hard to do this on camera. That's my second decrease. And then I got 1 more decrease. And the last 2 stitches, we're not going to decrease them. Then we're done. We're going to leave, I don't know, 5-inch tail just to weave that in. We don't need it for any other purpose. I pull that out. Then I get my needle. I'm going to pull some of this out because I'm happy with everything, and so you can see it better. So I just go unpick it. I'm not going to do all of it on camera, just enough so it's out of the way for you. And now we're going to take this and close in the circle. So what you do is you get the front loop only of all the stitches. So we should have 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then there's always this weird little loop right here. It's not a stitch, but it's just kind of out there, and I always grab that one too. And then I pull it close. And I just think it gives you a better point that way. I like that point. Then you go through the center. You go through the center and just come out somewhere. Let's go through the center. Just come out somewhere, wherever you want. Make sure it's all nice and closed up. Mine is. And then I'm going to weave in the ends, and I'm going to go under some stitches on the inside to make sure it's going to be tacked down. So I like to get a few stitches going one direction. And then it's going to be a little tight, but then it actually gets your tail end tacked down. And then I'm going to do that on the inside from my next row, going the opposite direction and trying to grab some of the fibers underneath some of the stitches to really tack it down. There we go. Then I'm going to just take it and go through all the way the other side, pull it through, and then just snip that off. You kind of see my tail right there. I'm just going to go in and swipe it down out of the way. So now I'm going to take this off, and then we're going to work on the wings. We're going to make both wings. Then we will make the wings. We'll place the wings, and then we'll do the antennas and then the legs. Okay, here's what my bee looks like. That's the bottom where this line is. That's why we placed the eyes where we did. And now we're gonna make 2 wings. So whatever wing color you want it to be, I'm gonna do white with some sparkle in it. But you can have fun with it. You can even add some fun fur to it. Just carry it along with it. So for the first wing, we're gonna do, for round 1, we're gonna do 8 single crochets in a magic circle, or chain 2 in the second chain from the hook. Do it that way, whatever you're comfortable with, however you do your magic circle or your chain 2. So we need, okay, 8 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need some more yarn. Oh no! Jiminy crickets, it's not wanting to pull. I'm only at 5. 6, 7, 8. Gonna close my circle. That shiny stuff, it makes it just a little bit harder. Now we are not going to be working in that round. We're going to be chaining 1 and turning our work. So we want to chain 1 and turn our work. Now we're going to do a single crochet increase, single crochet increase. We're going to do that a total of 4 times. So 1 single crochet in that first stitch, increase in the next stitch, single crochet, increase, single crochet, increase, single crochet, and increase. This one's a little bit difficult. It doesn't have to be perfect. That's 2 stitches. So now we have 12 stitches. I'm going to chain 1 and turn, and I need more yarn. Okay, so now we're going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, chain 1, turn. Now we're going to do 2 single crochets, increase. We're going to do that 4 times. So we're going to do 1 single crochet in the first stitch, 1 single crochet in the next stitch, and then an increase. That's the first time. Oh no. 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet in the next, increase in the next. That's 2 and 1. 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet. I need more yarn. Increase in the next stitch. One single crochet, 1 single crochet, and increase in that very last stitch. Now we're going to chain 1, turn our work. In the very first stitch, we're going to place 1 half double crochet. We're working on the small part of the wing now. And the next stitch, we're going to place 1 half double crochet. We're going to chain 1. We're going to turn our work. And in those 2 stitches, we're going to do an increase in each one, a half double crochet increase. So that's 2 half double crochets in each stitch. So that first stitch gets 2 half double crochets. That was 1. And that's 2. And the next stitch, 2 half double crochets. That's 1. And that's 2. Now we're going to chain 1, but we're not going to turn our work. Do not turn. Now we're going to place single crochets across here, except for in this like little hole area. I'm going to do a half double crochet to make it flat. And it doesn't really matter. You just want to make it an even across here. So let's see how many single crochets I end up doing. So I have, here's 1, 2. You just want to evenly put them across here. It doesn't have to, mine always vary a little bit. You don't want them too far apart or too close. Here's my third one, 3, 4, 5, oh no, 6. Doesn't really matter where you exactly place your stitches. You're not going to really see it. And I'm going to place a half double in that circle. And then right next to it, 1, 2, 3. Oh no, I grabbed some of that. And then in that very first like stitch is where I put my last single crochet, 4. So I did 4 single crochets, a half double, and 6, a half double, and then 4. But sometimes it works out a little bit different. It doesn't have to be perfect. You're just looking for this to be straight, but it actually arches a little bit. There's a little bit of a curve to it, and your bee has a little bit of a curve to it. So it actually works out perfectly, that little bit of a curve when you sew it on. It just naturally has a little bit of a curve, and it should fit from the top of that first line to the end of that last line. So, and you could do both of them with this one, but I'm really picky. I want my wings to look the same on both sides. So we do the second wing a little bit different, because this would be if you put the wing, if you made 2 of this exact one, they just wouldn't look identical facing each side. You'll see. So we do the second wing a little bit different. I'm going to tie off, tighten that up, and then I'm going to leave about, I don't know, 10 inches, 12 inches. It's always best to have a little bit more, because we're going to use this tail to sew it onto the body. So this is our first wing. And now we're going to make our second wing. And now you know the back of the wing, because this is sticking out right here. And that's, to me, the pretty side that I want. See the eyes? I want this pretty side facing outward, and then the back side facing the other wing when we place it. And I'll put the camera up more when we do that. So let's do the second wing. Okay, we're gonna do wing 2. It is almost the same. It's slightly different because we want to turn it to make it be looking like this on the opposite side. Okay, let's do this. You'll see when we're done. Into a magic ring, a single, double, 2 chains, and the second chain from the hook, however you like to do it. We are going to place 8 single crochets in the magic ring. Well, let me get my yarn guide ready. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I need to take that off. I'm going to pull this closed. We will not be working, oh no, in the round. Let's close that. And now we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. Chain 1, turn our work. And now we're going to do 1 single crochet and then an increase. We're going to do that 4 times. 1 single crochet, increase. 1 single crochet, increase. 1 single crochet, increase. 1 single crochet, increase. Oh no. And now I'm going to chain 1, turn our work. That was 12 stitches in total. And now we're going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch for 12 stitches. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, oh no, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We're going to chain 1 and turn our work. Now we're going to do 2 single crochets and an increase, a total of 4 times. 1, 2, let me get some yarn, increase in the next stitch. 1, 2, increase in the next stitch. 1, 2, increase in the next stitch. 1, 2, increase in this last stitch. Now here's what's going to be different. We're going to actually chain 1, go across here, and then do that little bump so it's on the opposite side. So chain 1, and now we're going to place single crochets across here. 1, 2, 3, 4, because remember we're on the opposite end of what we were. So 4, we normally would have had a couple more if we would have had that little bump, but we didn't have it. We're going to do a half double crochet in that center just to make it rise up and be level with our single crochets. Then we're going to do 1, 2, 3, and then I need some more yarn. Then in that first stitch right there, we're going to place a single crochet right there. Then we're going to chain 1, and into that same stitch that we just single crocheted, we're going to do a half double crochet into that one, just 1. And then we're going to do a half double crochet in the next stitch. Then we're going to chain 1. Oh no! chain 1. We're going to turn our work, and in the 2 half doubles, we're going to increase in each of them. So we're going to do an increase. There's 1 half double, and then another half double in that stitch. And then in the next stitch, we're going to place 2 half doubles. 1. Oh no, I don't like that big hole I just made. Let's see if I can do that differently. Let's see. There we go. Doesn't matter exactly where you place it, just to where it looks good. 1, 2. Now we're going to chain, and we're going to place a 1 or 2 single crochets just to straighten it up. 1, and then it's going to have to go in that hole 2. And now we're back to that first single crochet, and it looks a little bit off, but there's a trick that I do and it'll be just fine. Let's cut it off and leave like 12 inches again, and then I'll show you how to make it even out. So left about roughly 12 inches. I'm going to pull this out, and then I'm going to take my darning needle because see, now you have like here you have this little bump. You want to hide it by, here's a stitch, you want to go into the next stitch. Do you see that? Not into this stitch, but the next stitch. You go into that, pull that through, make it tight, and then up here where you have this V, go through the center of it, and then grab on to this one next to it, just or anywhere, go through there, and then when you pull it tight, oh no, it's hard to do this on camera. When you pull it tight, I missed that. Darn it, guys, sorry. It just creates a V, but you're not going to get to see it now. You're just, now you made it flush. To make it easier to sew on. So now, see, this is the wrong side. Here's the right side. The wrong side has this tail, and they're facing opposite directions, your wrong side. And so now when you put it on your bee, it's going to be easier. And let me raise this. Okay, so here's our bee. I think I need to raise. Okay, we're going to place our wings, and we're going to use our eyes as guides. And my wings, here's my eye. I normally have it straight at the edge of this eye right here. So I put my wings, I line them with the edge of this eye. So here's a bee, and you can see it's lined up with the eye. So I take, it's really hard to tie things down on to sew pieces on camera. So I take the tail, here's my tail. I take the short tail to help just put it in place. So I'm gonna line it up with my eye, and I can move it around later. I'm gonna just put it here and here, and then just out somewhere. That's just to help get the wing on, so then I can sew it down. So it's kind of just sitting there. Let me move this up a little bit more. So my eye is lined up at the end of my wing is lined up at the end of this eye. Do you see that? Boom. And then the next wing is going to be lined up on the inside of that eye right there. And so that's how my wings are going to be. like that. So what I do is I always place my first wing, and then I have this here. You can take these, you can take something if you have it to tack it down if you want. Normally I don't, I just wing it. So I'm going to put this in here. And then I'm going to make sure this is lined up. And then I'm going to go right, because I like it on this line, I'm going to go right in here and pick up a stitch, like right in the middle of that. So that's where my wing starts, right there. And then I'm going to go in through here to tack it down. So there, it's tacked down. And you can do it a couple more times right there to get it down, or you can just start sewing the wing on. What I like to do, I'm gonna make this go in here and come out one a little bit over to the side. And the reason why I don't usually use these, because I know I want my wing to end here and I want it to start here. So I fold my wing down now that I know it's where I want it, and you can just start to go in here and just start to sew it on. If you don't end up liking it, you can take it off, but I go in, I just start sewing it on, and I'll pick up my wing at times to see, do I like where I'm putting it? Do I need to rip it out? I normally don't have this iridescent stuff in there. So I just did a few stitches, and then I pick it up, and then I go, well, how am I liking it? Am I staying on track? And then I'll come back this way, back this way. So I'm liking how the wing's looking. It's staying where I want it to stay. It's kind of curving this way at a diagonal a little bit. I'm not going to perfectly be able to show you how to sew these on. It's very, very hard on camera. So I'm going to go in here, out. Go through the next one. And I just keep working my way and adjusting. Gotta push it a little bit. Where did I just come out? And if I don't do it exact on my way back this way, I can, work on it more. Have I had to take wings off and redo them? Maybe once or twice. But it doesn't have to be perfect. You want your amigurumi to have a little character. You don't want it factory made. And I want my wingtip to end right at the end of this one. So I want to do this, so I came out in between these two. And then I want to do the same thing. I want to go in through here. And then I want to make sure I'm getting it in between here. And then before I go back the other way, I'll put the other wing on it and see if I'm happy, because it's easy to pick it out right now. So there's one wing mostly on that iridescent yarn. There's one. And then I'm going to take just the short piece and do the same thing. I'm going to line it up. with the end right here at the eye. In my vision, it looks right. I'm going to make this come out so I can tie these together, right? Where I put the last little piece. So these two short ones, I can tie them together. And then let's see. And then I'm going to tie this down the same way. Even though I started a little bit here, I'm going to go this way and back here. I'm just going to make sure my wing starts on this line and ends on this line right here. Now I'm going to have to do this off camera. I'm going to just fold it back like I did and just start going around it. So it's the best I can do to show you on camera how to get these wings on. But again, they're going to be lined up with my eyes. And this is how far apart they'll be. I'll show you once I get it tacked on. These are those two short little ones that I left. I'm going to tie these together just to show you. You want to do the tie this one with this one and this one with this one. It helps keep it secure. And then you just push it in to hide it. I normally use this end, but I didn't want to take this out. This iridescent stuff is there we go. There we go. The end works so much better. Okay, so this is how my wings are looking right now. So it's lined up with this edge of my eye, and it's lined up with this edge of my eye. And then they both have the nice side facing outwards, and then the not as nice side on the inside. Or if you like it the opposite, if you're not going to have your wings up, if you're going to have your wings flat, you might want to swap them on the other direction if you want your wings like that. But I have my wings up. So it doesn't, you don't notice it 100%. I'm just a perfectionist. So I'm going to tie my ends. I'm going to put these on the inside and tie them together. And then we're going to work on the antennas and the legs. Okay, so now we're going to work on these antennas. You can have the antennas black if you wanted, or this purple color. What should I do? Should I do black antennas? Even your legs, you can do black. So you can have black antennas and black legs. I've done that before. Or you can, I don't know. Do I want purple antennas? No, I think I'm going to do black antennas. So the antennas are going to be aligned with your wings, maybe just one over. So here's your eye right here, and I'm going to put my antenna, here's my wing. I'm going to start right here. So there's the end of my eye. And you can move it if you like. So I'm going to put my crochet hook in there, and I'm going to be doing black antennas. I'm going to take my yarn and pull it through. I'm going to chain, sorry. I'm going to chain 5. Let's see if we can show you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to just do a double crochet, 2 double crochet bobble. I'm going to wrap this around my hook, and the second hook from the chain, I'm going to go in there, yarn over, pull it through, yarn over, pull through 2, and I'm going to leave that. I'm not going to finish my double. I'm going to yarn over, go through there again, the second chain from the hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through only 2. Oh no, it's kind of hard to show you. Pull through only 2. Now I have 3 chains on my hook. I'm going to yarn over, pull through all 3. Then I'm going to slip stitch back in that one. And then I'm going to slip stitch in the last 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. Pull this tight. And then I'm going to slip stitch back where I just originally was in. I take that, slip stitch, and then pull that tight. I'm going to cut off like maybe 4 inches. Oh no, where's my scissors? And then I'm going to pull that all the way out. So here's my antenna. See how it's kind of wonky? So this tail right here, I can take it, and if I put it in to the side, I can straighten that out. So if I take this tail that you just saw, this extra long tail, and if I went over here, it wouldn't look right. It needs to face this direction. So I'm going to go in back here where I first originally came in, and I'm going to go out just to the side a little bit, and it'll see how it's just straightened that up. And then I'm going to take this tail and go out the same area I just went in over here and tie it down. I want to go right where that is. I put this in here. Go through here, and then I'm going to tie those together. Typically, I like to crisscross them and tie them to the opposite one. So then you would tie that down, tie it, clip it, and hide it. But let's do our second one real quick. So you want to follow the same line that you were just in, and you want it to be in like the same spot as that one. So, and then do the same thing. Take your yarn, pull it through, chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2 a double crochet bobble in the second chain from the hook. So we're going to yarn over, go through that loop, yarn over, pull it through, yarn over, pull through only 2, yarn over, go through that loop, yarn over, pull it through, yarn over, pull through 2. You got 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through all 3, slip stitch into that same chain that we were just working in, and then do 3 slip stitches down. It doesn't have to be exactly, it's so hard to do on camera. 1, 2, oh my goodness, 3, and then slip stitch back into that exactly where we just were. Oh no. And then cut off a little tail. Crickets. And then pull it through, and then do the same thing where you take your darning needle, you put it through here to straighten your antennas out. Okay, I already tied in this one. I'm just gonna show you guys this one. I don't know how well you can see me tying a knot. So I just tie these in a knot. I do 3 or 4, tie it in a knot. These are the strings from the, these. Oh no. You cut off the ends. And now you have that. And then I take the end of my darning needle and I push it in there. It's the best. And then I come in from somewhere else and pull it down and then try to stick some stuffing there. And that's how you get your tail ends in. So here's my wings and my antennas. Now we're gonna do the feet. And my pattern fell down. Let me put it back up. Okay, so now we're gonna do the feet. And for the feet, I'm gonna show you him. So the feet, here's my eyes, and here's my first set of feet. And it's almost the center of the eye on both sides. And then I like to do it on the first line of my first stripe right there. And then the other 2 are just like 1 stitch over. Do you see that? It's just 1. So first we're gonna place these, and then on the top of the second stripe, 1 stitch over, we're gonna place those. So that's how I determine where my feet go. So let me take him. Let me get my yarn. I got my yarn. I got my crochet hook. Here's my eye. And so here's the center of it. So I'm going to be placing my first leg right about here. Just took some stuffing out. Oh no, but that's okay. So there's my first leg. That seems, and if you want it to go over, if you're like, I don't like it right there, but let me see. Nope, I like it right there. So then you take your yarn, wrap it around, and we're gonna pull that through. And then for your first leg, we are gonna chain 5. Let's chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the second stitch from the hook, we're gonna slip stitch. So that's where we take our yarn, wrap it around our hook, pull it through, pull it through. We're gonna do that 3 more times. 1, oh no, 2, 3, and then we're going to, that last one's always a turkey. We're gonna slip stitch where we first went in, yarn, pull it through, and then take that and pull that through. And then we're gonna tie off. And that's just where you take your yarn, wrap it around, pull it through leaving a little bit of tail, cutting it, and pulling that all the way through. So there's our first foot. And so again, to make your foot straight, it's where you place this tail. You want to place it inside here. Let's do that now. Put this in here. Go back in here. I like to maybe go over one. Let's see how that looks. You know what? I'm gonna go to this side. I like to tie them to the opposite end. Go here. And then, yeah, I like that. Looks good. And then I'll take this one. I should have left maybe a teeny bit more of a tail. And I bring this here. Oh no. I like to crisscross my tails. Boom. So they're ready for when I do this leg. So now my next leg, I'm gonna try to center it up. I think it looks good right about here. Let's see. Oh no. Well, phooey. You know what? Maybe I want it on this line right here, because here it's not going to look good. So I'm going to do it so it's not going to be exactly straight, because my line isn't straight because we're going in the round and we're not slip stitching and chaining one to make it a perfect round. So I'm good with it right here. And so I'm going to attach my yarn, do the same thing as the other side, chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, second stitch from the hook. Oh no, I'm gonna slip stitch. And then, I don't like that, got too loose. Second chain, slip stitch, and then stitch, slip stitch in the last 3. 1, 2, 3, and then slip stitch right where you first joined. And then tie off, which is when you wrap it around, pull it through, cut, and pull it all the way through. Okay, and then I like to take this string right here, and to straighten it out, I go in here, and I'm gonna meet this yarn from the opposite side, and then I'll tie those together. And be careful when, don't pull this one too tight, because look at, it's making it go in, and that's my original tail. So got to be careful with that one. I'm going to go here and then go out over here and meet this other one. I gotta be careful because I got a little bit of that, the light stuff. There we go. Oh no, I didn't have the end. All that work. Well, Jiminy Crickets. There we go. Oh, and I almost didn't have the tail again. It's so hard doing this on camera. There we go. Boom. So now I'm just going to tie these off. 1, 2, 3. I didn't leave much to tie with here. Oh no! 1, 2. Can I do 3? Oh, it's such a little bit. Yep, that's good enough. 3. I'm going to cut them. Make them shorter. Okay. Now I'm going to push this in. push it in, and then pull it down. Push it in. Whoops. There we go. And then these are my 2 legs done. And you'll have to fix them. They'll get a little bit warped. Oh, there we go. There's my 2 legs. And then the back legs, I'm just going to go off these. I want it on this line, but I want it 1 over. So here's my line. I want it 1 over. I want it about right here. Does that look about 1 over? I think that looks good. So this one, we are going to chain 7, and that's the only difference. We're gonna take our yarn, pull it through, chain 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. My yarn's getting all messed up. And then, and then in the second chain from the hook, we're gonna slip stitch. And then slip stitch all the way down. We got 5 more to go. 2, 3, 4. I need more yarn. 5. Got this big old glob of yarn over here. Well, Jiminy Crickets. I'm so close. And then I'm gonna slip stitch back where I started. And then I'm gonna do that with this 4th leg. Let me finish this. Slip stitch. Sometimes it's better just to grab that leg so you can pull that through. There we go. I'm gonna cut that off. I'll tie these in off camera. And then my last leg, here it is, and I want to go over 1, so I'm going to go right here, and then I'm going to pull this through, going to chain 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, the second chain from the hook, slip stitch, and then slip stitch in the last 5, 3, I don't know, I don't think I'm counting right. Oh no! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it'll be 6. 6, and then slip stitch. And that right where we started, where we attached our yarn, gonna grab that and then tie off. And then I'm gonna tie these legs down. I'll do that off camera, but if you see, I like the way they are. They're good. It doesn't have, you can place them wherever you want. There's our legs. That's what they look like. I haven't tied them in yet, but that's what it looks like. I messed them up, but that's just because I was putting the other legs on there. So there we go. We are done with him after you tie those in. I'll be right back. Okay, if you want to indent these eyes like this, if you like the look of that better, let's try to do this. Let me see if I can show you how. I am going to do, this is probably 16 inches. Probably way too much, but better more than too much than too little. I'm going to try to do it with this darning needle, but if you have something longer, it's better. typically. I don't mind, because what's gonna happen is we need to tie a knot, and it'll make it sink in a little bit right here. You'll see why. So you want to go in this line where it indents, and you want to, when you go in here, and make sure there's something in between to help tie it down. So wherever you don't mind that indentation, that's where we're going to go in. So we're going to go through here, and we're going to go somewhere under the eye. I'm trying to, it's not wanting to come out. Oh no. There it is. So I'm gonna come out right here. Do you see where that, it's right here. I'm gonna pull this through and leave a tail. And then we're gonna, I think maybe right there looks good, and then we'll go in here and then come to the other side, go in there and make sure it's this way. Then you see where we went here, almost maybe in the center of the eye. We're going to come to that same area down here. Poke it in here, but as you poke it in there, you want to now come out. It's not wanting to go in right there. You want to come out back down where you started. For some reason, there we go. But you want to make sure there's like a little notch in between. So don't come in, you don't want to go exactly where you just came in, but beside it, because we're gonna pull on it and then we're gonna have to tie it down. So then let's pull this through, and now we're gonna be pulling on both of these until they sink in. See how I just pulled it and now they're sinking in? And you got to pull them both at the same time. And you see how they're sinking in now? Don't know how well I'm showing you. And now I'm going to tie, and you have to keep it pulled as you try to tie a knot. And sometimes you kind of lose some of it. I don't have any other trick. Oh no. Except for just now keep pulling it. Oh, I'm losing my, and just keep pulling it until you're happy, and then squish and adjust. And then you're gonna tie that in a knot. But you see now you have that bump underneath a little bit. And now you're gonna have to hide these tails. So I'm gonna cut it a little bit shorter. And then hide these tails. Back in and just come out somewhere and cut it off. Ah! Not good to drop scissors. Okay, push that in. And you see how it's pushed in some now? Is it showing up on camera? And see how it gives you a little indent right there, which I don't mind. And so now you've sculpted his face some. Hopefully that helps if you want these indented more. And let's add a little smiley face since I got you. Let's add a smiley face because my granddaughter's gonna ask me, where's a smile? So I use embroidery floss. Go off to the side somewhere. I'm gonna go here I think a little smile right here. And if you don't like it, oh no, I just lost it. Yep, I like that smile. So if you place it where you like it, go in, come out under it somewhere, and this is gonna hold it down, and you go over it, back in that same spot, and then you go out where you originally started. Pull that through. There's your smile. Oh, he looks so much better with a smile. And then you tie a few knots and cut the end off, and then push that inside your amigurumi. Always do at least 3. Cut. Oh, I should have cut it a little bit more, but that's okay. I'll just push it in more. Get that in there, and then go to the side and swoop it down. Do you see how much harder it is if my tails are a little bit too long? Go down. There we go. Just get some stuffing to kind of hide that. Sometimes I just don't get it. I must have got a little bit of, there we go. There's a smile and then a little sculpting. Hello, we're done, woohoo, buzz. Okay, I messed with him a little bit much. You just gotta fix him back up. There you go. Here is our finished bee, or my finished bee. This is what it looks like. Here we go. Except for if you want to do a mouth. You can add a mouth or not add a mouth. I'll show you what he looks like with the mouth. This is worsted weight, but you can do this pattern in any size yarn you want. It doesn't change. This is with a velvet yarn right here. This is with a mouth. And then this is with a bigger Chanel yarn. I did the pattern the same. The wings, the only difference is I carried this fun fur with it to make it look like that. There's with a mouth. I added buttons to make it more fun, to give it cheeks. There's the legs. You can do any color combo you want. This one was the one that I designed. This is how we all started, because I bought this rainbow yarn and wanted a bee. I didn't want to go hunt for a bee pattern. I didn't give him a mouth. And then in the traditional yellow, and I haven't done legs yet because let me start. And then with the traditional colors, this I just did a French knot. This is what he looks like without legs, but I do think I prefer legs. I do think it'd be fun to have a flower button right here. Wouldn't that be cute? There was thunder. Don't know if that you could hear that, but this is an even bigger yarn. And all you do is change the hook size to the yarn that's appropriate for you. This one, I either used a 6 or 6.5. I'm not quite sure, but I didn't have to change the pattern at all. It's the same exact pattern. Here's the line. So I hope you had fun. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I would love it if you showed me yours on Facebook or Instagram. And I will have those links in the description box below. I appreciate you. Thank you for joining me.